Hey, if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time at all, you're going to know that I'm a bow hunter first and an archer second. That's why when my friends get a hold of me and say, I want to pick up a stick bow, or I get messages on social media, I always tell them the same thing. Don't ask me. I'm not the guy to ask. You need a coach. Well, not everybody has a coach available, right? You might not even have a local club where you can go and rub elbows and get tips from folks. But enter our friends over at The Push. Now, Matt and Tim have put together what they call the PAC, the Push Archery Center of Knowledge. What that is online courses to help you, whether you're brand new or you've been doing it for 35 years like me. There's something for everyone. Now I partake in Tom Clum's Solid Archery Mechanics, but they also have Roots by Rod Jenkins and Jimmy Blackman and Joel Turner's Controlled Process Shooting. Now, when you get one of these courses, you got it for life. They continually add content. You go on there, there's different modules to help you work on whatever you need, but there's also a forum that you jump on there and you can chat with other students, but also the coach themselves. So talk about having a coach at the tip of your fingers. The PAC has got it. So if you're interested in getting started or interested in getting better, run on over to www.thepusharchery.com/PAC. You're not going to be sorry, but you better get after it because season's coming soon. Hey, happy 4th of July. Yep. Welcome to another episode of the Stick Bow Chronicles brought to you by Black Widow Bows. Yeah, we got a guest this week. I had a blast talking to a young lady from Montana. If you listen to this podcast for any length of time, I always brag on the rich history of traditional archery in Montana. And this week, we got a young lady from Montana named Madison Snyder. That name shows up a lot, and not just because of Aaron, but I got to give a big shout out to my sister-in-law who makes all our cool covers. She does such a great job, and she made the original Stick Bow Chronicle logo, Heather Snyder. So she listens once in a while. Big thanks to her. Madison goes by Maddie. She is, you'll hear in the episode. Had a blast talking to her. We're going to get you out of here quick. Just want to mention the 200th episode, well received. I appreciate all the messages on that and all the congratulations. If you aren't already in the Stick Bow Chronicles closed group on Facebook, we're doing a giveaway. It's a Kifaru pack. We got a Kifaru field quiver. We've got an Iron Will K1 knife with the TSC logo, Stick Bow Chronicles logo on it. Really nice knife, and I'm digging it. I used that this year. I really like it. And a hat, Stick Bow Chronicles hat. So worst case scenario, you get a hat out of the deal. Just go over to, I think actually if you're on Instagram, I think it's still in the bio there. We have a link to the closed group, and so a week from Monday, so I don't know what's 7 + 5. So a week from Monday, we're gonna pick 4 winners. So get over there. I appreciate all the listeners. Appreciate all the messages. Leave us a 5-star review and a good review on whatever platform you're listening to. We would appreciate it. The I Hunt Close Trad Kill 2021 is still cranking. I need to get more pictures up. We've got a whole bunch of entries, and if it is your first trad kill, be sure and put that in the when you email. So email us to ihuntcloseofficial@gmail.com and send us your 2021 trad kills. And if, like I said, if it's a first trad kill, make sure you put it in the notes there because we're pulled one of the prize packages for the first trad kill. So we got Safari Tough stuff to give away, Sitka gear. That's going to be the first trad kill. Kifaru and Iron Will broadheads. So love seeing them. I'll get them up there. I promise. It's a blast sharing everybody's success. Jiminy's, I think that's all we got. Big shout out to the sponsors, Kifaru International, The Footed Shaft, Selway Archery, Backwoods Grind Coffee Company. That's all I got. Enjoy the show. Have a great week. Roger out. Maddie, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Not too bad. You were over, what part of Montana are you in?
Right by Kalispell. I live in a little town called Martin City, but Kalispell's the biggest town that's close to us.
You guys, is it scorching over there yet?
Yeah, today was super muggy out, so it was kind of miserable. And then next week, I think it's supposed to be like pushing 100, like nearly the whole week. So not looking forward to that at all.
No, I heard it was, I haven't looked. Somebody told me it was going to be 101 here on Monday. And we already, Sandpoint is generally, this part of Idaho is generally a wetter area. And we've already had a fire that's still going. I don't know. So kicking the summer off right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's not polite to ask a woman her age. So let's say you're like 20. I better shoot low. You're in your early 20s? What's
23?
Yeah. And I saw you at first on Instagram and several stick bow kills. And I go, who is this? And then after we exchanged some messages, it turned out like you always camp across from where we camp at the Libby shoot. And I'm like, oh man, I've seen you since you're like 8 or 10 years old running barefoot with a bunch of kids. So,
yeah.
So what's your connection to traditional archery?
So I grew up doing it. My uncle is Dave Windauer, who makes Schaefer silvertip bows. So just been a big part of my life since day one. My dad, my mom is Dave's sister. So once my dad married my mom, he got thrown into the traditional world right away and it became a big part of his life. He was just shooting a compound. So, just right away when I was little, as soon as I could, I had a bow in my hand, just a little lawn bow. I've got a big bunch of rowdy cousins with the same story. And so we just grew up shooting lawn bows at squirrels and whatever moved pretty much. And so, just been a big part of my life. And then once I was able to hunt my first year hunting, I wasn't quite strong enough to pull back a recurve that could ethically kill something. So I had to use a compound for the first year of hunting. And then after that first year, I've been hunting with a stick bow for a while now.
So your first year hunting, you're hunting with a bow during archery seasons, I'm assuming. You're still gun hunt. You grew up gun hunting too?
Yep.
Yeah. Did you kill anything the first year with the compound?
I did.
Did you?
So I don't think so. My dad just gave me a compound and it looked like an alien to me, grow up shooting a stick bow. So I don't even think I fully comprehended, I'm supposed to be using sights with it. Practiced a little bit with it. My dad felt confident in my skills. I don't know why, but so my first kill was on a deer push. I don't know if you're familiar with those, over in eastern Montana. And it was probably like a 2-year-old doe. It wasn't very big. Came coming in and my dad was sitting double with me. And I think he was waiting for me. It was going through a whole bunch of twigs and stuff, just sticks everywhere. And he thought I knew enough to wait for it to clear all those sticks and then shoot. So I pulled back and he thought I was going to wait. And I just let an arrow fly right through all those twigs and it ping-ponged probably on 100 twigs and actually slid it right through the jugular. And so it worked out perfect. It took 2 steps and just dropped like that. But I got pretty lucky. Yeah. Well, I killed a buck 2 days later on that same trip with my compound. So it was a good first year.
Yeah, that's you said it was eastern Montana?
Yep.
I guess I didn't know you guys did pushes over there. I thought that was kind of more of an eastern thing. I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah, our family does. I don't know if you know the name Matt Riley. I think he's originally from Illinois, but he's a good family friend of ours. And yeah, so he's from Illinois, and I think he kind of introduced deer pushes to us. And yeah, that's how I grew up hunting mainly, is where I really got my foot in the door. And then even before I could hunt, me and all my cousins were going on those trips with my dad and uncle, and just witnessed a lot of archery kills that our dads and uncles were doing, and just learned a whole lot. And that was my first like exposure to hunting, I guess. But I love deer pushes. We still do them to this day.
Now, do you guys have like a tradition where the family goes over and camps every year and hunts the same area?
Yep. We've been doing that like probably since I was maybe 8, probably. And then in high school, all of our families kind of took a big break because all of us kids were either playing soccer or football or something in the fall. And then once we started graduating high school, went back over there and continued the same trip pretty much. So, yep. Yeah,
that looks like, I ran into you at Libby. Excuse me. I ran into you at Libby, and it looks like what used to be a bunch of barefoot kids running around in the pine cones and stuff. Now it looked like a bunch of athletes. This is some pretty impressive folks.
Yep. We all grew up playing sports and stuff. And then Dave's kids, Josie and Ben is playing football at Montana Tech, and Josie's playing soccer at University of Montana. So there's definitely a lot of athletes in our family.
Montana Tech, I think, is that the Bobcats?
No, they're the Diggers. They're like they're an old mining town. The Bobcats is Montana State.
Gotcha. So what kind of bow are you shooting now? What kind of weight you? I'm assuming it's a Schaefer silver tip. I'll just make that assumption.
Yep. I'm shooting a 58-inch recurve Schaefer silver tip, obviously. Had the same riser since I was probably in junior high. Just got a new set of limbs probably 2 or 3 years ago. It's 50 pounds at 28, so I'm liking it.
Yeah. Do you draw 28?
No. So when I got those limbs 2 years ago, measured my draw length, it was 26. So I was drawing less than 50 pounds. And then I was just at Dave's shop the other day, dinking around, and he's got a arrow with inches on it to measure your draw length. And I checked mine, and it was 24. So I don't know how the heck that happened. I think my form, I started to really lean. So I think that's decreased my draw length. And then I think if I improve like my back tension and stuff, I can add a couple more inches. So just kind of made me realize I need to work on that.
Yeah, I had a friend that he was drawing. He's bigger than me, and he was drawing really short. And it was just like you're talking. He's not engaging his back muscles. You see, you lean a lot. Aaron Snyder invented that, right?
Yeah,
nobody.
I think I saw you call it the Snyder lean, like on Instagram or something. Which I'm a Snyder. My last name's Snyder, so I was like, well, I guess it fits.
Yeah, you're famous now.
I guess.
That's funny.
Yeah. I need to learn that though.
You can't talk your uncle into building your new riser? A bad relationship there?
Well, I probably could. I need to drop it off the shop and kind of have him do at least a makeover, because I've made the mistake of using a silver tip as a carp bow for the past 10 years. So it's pretty beat up right now.
You guys have a great carp shoot over there. I would love to go. Is that just happened, or is it just coming up, or?
That just happened. We usually go, this year we went a weekend earlier, but we usually go Father's Day weekend at Canyon Ferry, and it's a hoot. You should come one year. It'd be a lot of fun.
I threatened to. I've only been carp shooting a handful of times with my buddy Mike, and it is so much fun. It's holy smokes. You know what it's like out west. You don't get to shoot a lot of arrows when you get to shoot that many in one day.
It's awesome. Yeah. This year was okay. The first 2 days, the water wasn't quite warm enough for them to come to the shallows. They're out deeper. So we were getting shots, but it's hard to hit them when they're 6 feet below the surface, And then the last day, we had a couple 90-degree days. Last day, they came to the shallows, and they get in big bunches. We call them rut balls. just because we think it's funny. But yeah, we're just shooting into those big balls of fish and it's fun. Yeah, 2 years ago, we call it the Carp Massacre. We found a little bay and there's just carp everywhere. And then it came and like narrowed before it went into the whole lake. It was maybe like 10 feet wide where it narrowed before it go into the whole lake. And we blocked it off with like 5 people and bows. And we were just all in there and scooping carp up with our hands and shooting them. And it was awesome. Yeah, I love carp shooting.
And just so people know, we're talking about a Montana Bowhunters Association, MBA. That's the shoot we're talking about, right? It's a kind of a...
Well, yeah, they have the shoot there, but we usually aren't like really a part of that, but they're usually there too. This year we were there the same weekend. So we actually ran into like Scott Kelzer and stuff. They came and hung out with us at camp one night and his son, Brian. But usually we're there the weekend the weekend after the shoot. Yeah. But this year we were there the same weekend.
You know, I ice fished Canyon Ferry years and years ago. And we were fishing for lingcod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was, you know, that place is just super windy. And we had the pickups out on the ice and somebody left the doors open on the pickup and the wind was at the tailgate and that truck took off. I mean, It took off. We were hauling butt to try to catch the pickup. It was a mess. It was a mess.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy.
So what else have you killed with a stick bow?
So I got a buck last year and then I've gotten quite a bit of does. I don't even know how many does I've shot with my whitetail does with my bow. And then one turkey and then obviously a bunch of carp. But that's about it. So pretty much just deer and turkey right now. Haven't gotten a crack at an elk yet, but that's the goal just about every year. It's kind of hard because growing up I was in soccer and that took up most of my like September and October. And then working for an outfitter during September and October doesn't really give you a ton of time to hunt for yourself either. So this year I should have a lot more time to elk hunt with my bow. So elk hunting's a lot of fun, even if you don't get one, just any close encounters and experiencing bugling and all that. So hopefully put in some more time with that. But yeah, just whitetail and a turkey pretty much.
Do you hunt with your dad a bunch for elk or you have a group that you're hunting with?
Yeah, either with my dad. I go out with my brother a lot and then my boyfriend too. And then my cousin Josie, we've been elk hunting quite a bit too. So yeah, pretty much whoever can go usually and wants to go.
You guys got a long season over there. You don't have to choose your weapon, right? You can hunt September 6th through into November with a rifle, right?
Yeah, I think it may be September 4th. And then, all the way pretty much the whole month of November. And then there's a couple like early rifle seasons too, like in the Bob Marshall that open up September 15th. So yeah, there's a lot of options. We've got it pretty good here in Montana. That's
almost like we've got a lot of that in our Idaho's backcountry elk hunts is that September 15th opener. And it's a general. So generally people are rifle hunting and it gets to a point where you're like, man, that's right. Not even fair.
Yeah. I know when you're a guy back there with a bow to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you got where you're hunting? And I'm not looking for drainages or nothing, but do you got to deal with grizzlies much?
Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of grizzly bears in this area. Like I almost say that I see more grizzly bears than I do black bears. So it's definitely always on your mind. And I haven't had any like super close calls, but I've definitely ran into them at pretty close distances and stuff. And a lot of good family friends and people that have got some stories that'll make your hair stand up and stuff like that. But yeah, they're all over the place here. And the woods are so thick here too that it's when you do see them, a lot of times they're pretty close.
So when you say thick, I guess I'm picturing lodgepole. What's a general view of the woods there in timber?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of like lodgepole and larch and spruce and all that and stuff, but you're either in really thick trees or you're in a burn where there's like downfall, and we've got a lot of thick, we call it yew brush. I don't know if that's actually what it's called, and ceanothus brush and stuff like that. And then we do have some pretty big open drainages and stuff where you can do some glassing and all that good stuff, but pretty thick and steep country for the most part where I hunt, at least. Yeah.
So do you carry a pepper spray or pistol or both?
I've carried pepper spray before. I usually carry a pistol. I only have a 40 though, which probably isn't going to do much realistically when a bear's coming at you. But most of the people I hunt with carry 45s or 10s or stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I've waffled back and forth. I think pepper spray is probably the way to go, but I have a tough time, mentally. Like you're always hunting with the wind in your face, and you get a stiff breeze, and you think, well, man, that'd just be like seasoning. I'm not sure I'm good with that.
Yeah, I've thought about that quite a bit. Like with the pistol, you've got to make some pretty good shots, and most of the time, you probably just piss them off unless you're hitting them right in the head or chest, So, yep, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where I'm in the woods enough and the people I'm with are in the woods enough where you're bound to have something happen eventually. You just have to, I guess, be as prepared for it as you can. Last year, it was kind of funny. My boyfriend was going to Alaska for the first time to work for an outfitter. And so he was, we were just talking about bears and stuff a lot because there's a lot up in that area, obviously. And we wanted to practice shooting pistols, like in as real life as a situation as we can. And so me, my brother, and my boyfriend, we got an old tire and found a really steep slope. And I don't really recommend this for other people to try, but one of us would go up on the steep slope and chuck the tire at the person shooting. And then we'd obviously have a spot where you could dive off and get out of the way quick. And then we'd shoot the tire as it was rolling down at us fast. And honestly, that was great practice. We had our pistols like holstered like you wouldn't be expecting it and have to run the slide and shoot as fast as you can. But that was pretty fun. But yep, I think just having like good muscle memory on whether it's pepper spray or your pistol or anything to deal with that situation when it does happen. But yeah, I don't know. Bears are pretty scary.
Do you know Trent Wingard?
I don't.
He's got he's Wingard bows. I don't know if he's from there, but he's over in Heron. He's in Sandpoint now, but his cousins, they spend a pile of time. They grew up hunting grizzly country, and I won't go through the story, but the absolute worst, most harrowing grizzly encounter, I think it was last year, and it turned out well, but only because they practice a lot. They practice a lot with their guns. For me, it's a false sense of security because I'll clear leather, but I'm probably ain't gonna hit crap.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Yeah, behind our house borders Forest Service land, so we've got just a ton of access just to woods that stretch forever, and there's some trail systems back there. And I think it was 4 years ago, he was like a Forest Service law enforcement guy, was riding his bike back there and came around a tight corner, slanted downhill, and there's a grizzly there, and he actually ran into it with his bike. And there was a guy behind him, his buddy, and his friend said there's nothing he could do. That bear is on top of him. And like the guy just had to turn around and get out of there, save himself, because there's nothing he could do. But as a crow flies, that was only probably, 7 miles from my house, and I trail run behind my house all the time. So after that situation happened, that really opened my eyes to being careful and making noise when you can. Obviously, you can't really make a lot of noise when you're hunting, but yep, nope, some pretty scary stuff happens.
I make a lot of noise when I'm trail running. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that story was pretty well publicized. I know the story you're talking about, and I wonder about not just bicycles, but like these e-bikes, and you just go ripping down the trail, and it doesn't matter if it's a grizzly or a cow moose. You come around a corner, and man, it's game on.
I hate those e-bikes.
I don't blame you.
Yep, they're kind of infiltrating this area, and it's especially when you're like a horse person, you use horses for hunting a lot. You don't really like those, so.
Yeah. What about your arrow setup? So you're shooting under 50 pounds now, right? You're shooting probably, 48 or something, 46?
So my arrow setup, I've got Easton aluminums that I'm shooting. They're, so I was shooting a 2114. They're those camo hunter ones. I don't know if you know what those are, but I was shooting a 2114, and I think my total arrow weighed like 525 grains or something. But yeah, yesterday I was bear shafting a couple different spines. You know how you can order like an arrow for $5 off of whatever arrow site. I got a couple different spines and bear shafted them. I think I'm going to switch over to a 2016. I had those flying pretty good out of my bow last night. So, yep, shooting those. And then for broadheads, I'm shooting Eskimo's Wiki. And I think I'm at like 165 grains up front right now. So,
yeah, 2016. That was a very popular arrow. 2016, 2018, back in the day. You're old school all the way around, shooting aluminum.
Yeah, I like aluminums. I've been shooting them for a while.
Well, we were just talking about that just the other day when we were shooting, and there is a sound that aluminum makes coming off the bow that's unique. You know, just like wood has a sound, and it's kind of nostalgic for me hearing aluminum come off the riser.
Yep. Yeah, I like them.
So how'd you get into outfitting?
So our good family friend, Rich Maddie, bought an outfitting business up in Spotted Bear, Montana. I think it was it was 2016, I think. And so right away, me and my boyfriend went up there and started helping out around the lodge and stuff. The lodge was pretty run down, so he didn't do a ton of backcountry trips and stuff the first couple of years because he just wanted to get the lodge up to par and build up the stock and stuff that he has, get more mules, get more horses and stuff. So I kind of just helped around the lodge, you know, with whether it be cooking, cleaning, did a lot of cleaning mouse poop out of cupboards and all that good stuff. And then, yeah, once he kind of got everything up to par and stuff, he started doing backcountry fishing trips in the Bob Marshall. So summer of 2019, I worked for him the whole summer, and that's pretty much how I got started into it. And I really, really love it. It's a ton of fun. Get a ride every week and then also raft and stuff. It's pretty awesome. So
you're a licensed guide in Montana then? Guide's license?
No, I don't have my guide's license. So I don't do any of the guiding fishing trips or hunting trips, but I help out with taking clients in on horseback, and then I help out with a lot of the cooking and horse stuff, and then I gear boat out. So you only have to have your guide's license if you're in a raft with a fishing client and you're helping them, or you're going hunting with the individual. So yeah, no, I don't have my guide's license.
So more like a packer, wrangler type.
Yeah, I would say more so wrangler. I get to do some packing, but there's main packers there and I'm not one of them, but I do get to do a little bit and then help out with clients and get them into the woods. And usually we'll take like maybe 1 or 2 mules with us and the clients, and do a little bit of packing and stuff. And then when you're back there, you kind of have to be well-rounded and be able to do everything. So, because you never know what you're going to get thrown into, whether you have to pull a string or do something, you know. So
did you, I'm assuming you grew up with horses then?
Yep. Grew up with horses my whole life. So I'm pretty comfortable with them.
Do you guys have a guide school right near there, or where's he pull his guides?
I don't think there's a guide school. I think there's one in Montana. I know there's a guide school called Royal Tyne something, and I don't know if that's in Idaho or in Montana, but it's pretty local. And most of the time it's just people that he knows. Yeah, he's got one guy that came from a guide school. Then we had one guy working for us who's Amish, and he's probably one of the best hands Rich has ever had. But yeah, just kind of local people looking for work. Usually everyone kind of for the most part, has experience hunting. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, when you and I met and we started shooting the breeze over there in Libya, immediately it started talking about packing and backcountry. It was like we were on a roll there. And I said to you, like, cherish those years because when you have to start being an adult, it's not really it's not really conducive to being an adult because of the hours and stuff. But I look back at it and some of the coolest stuff. I mean, like you said, you're getting paid to be on a horse for, 12, 14 hours a day. You're doing mostly all in the Bob Marshall. Is that right?
Yep. All in the Bob Marshall.
Do you know how big that is?
So after we talked that one time, and I looked it up when I got into service because I was curious, and it's 1.5 million acres.
Ooh,
so yeah. It's pretty big. I think it's like 60 miles long. So I definitely understand the whole cherish your years back there and stuff. We get to do a lot of fun stuff that you wouldn't usually get to do in a normal job. And just, I really like, the thing that I appreciate about it the most is like, honestly, like the things that go wrong back there, you can't like run to the grocery store, like fix them in the normal way that you would if you're in town and stuff. So like, it really grows you as a person because you just kind of have to like roll with the punches and like be able to take things as they are and figure it out sort of thing. And that creates some of the best memories. Yeah.
Just being resourceful. And, when you're in the wilderness area, especially if you have people like clients, depending on you, you really have to think ahead. Like just the simple task of cutting kindling. Everything you do, you got to kind of slow down because like you said, you're not going to pick a cell phone up and call 911 when you chop your finger off. Right. So you just as soon it not happen.
Right. And like the clients that we do take back there, like most of the time you have anywhere from 4 people to 8 clients. And like that first day, me and another girl, we take them in 15 miles on horseback to our first camp. And half the time they've never even gotten on a horse and like don't even know how to put their foot up in the stirrup and stuff. And some people catch on quick and like, I don't know, are just a little better at it. And then some people, it's like, you literally like, it's just crazy, the stuff that they can't do for themselves. So you're kind of taking care of like a 200-pound baby for the first day, it seems like it sometimes with some people, but I know I've done it consistently for 2 summers and we did 7 week-long trips the first summer and then 8 week-long trips the second summer. And out of all those people, we've only had like 1 accident basically where it resulted in a client getting hurt. So that kind of blows my mind that we haven't had more stuff go wrong, honestly.
Yeah. You say it's amazing if people can't do. How often do you have to lead a horse up to a log and the person gets on the log and he's climbing up and you hope that horse, the horse, you're like, okay, he can withstand this person like crawling up on top of him and, 225 pounds of. Yeah.
And even some people that need like a stump or a rock to get on, you still have to help like shove them up onto the horse and stuff. Cause our trips are pretty like most of the time they're wealthy people that are coming. And so for people to be somewhat well off and financially stable, a lot of times they're older people who like have hips that don't work and can't just swing up onto a horse. So a lot of times I just get stressed out thinking like, oh, this person's going to break a hip or something if anything happens. But yeah. But it's fun, people enjoy it and it's nice seeing like you get people coming from New York City or California or something and it makes you appreciate like what you have so much more, seeing it through their eyes. Like everything just blows their mind, like the scenery and just how we do stuff. And like most of the time people really appreciate like the logistics of it all, of getting all their gear upriver on mules and all the work that gets put into it and stuff just so they can have a good trip. And for the most part, most people seem to have a really awesome trip. So, yeah.
That was one of my favorite things guiding was when somebody really appreciated where they were at because, like you say, you're taking somebody that's might live in the city their whole life and you're sticking them in one of the largest wilderness areas in the country. And when they appreciate it and they're in awe, it's so much enjoyable just to tell them like, well, what kind of tree that is. And, what role that tree plays in the, the grand scheme of things and, how it's used and everything.
For sure.
So,
yeah.
I was surprised to hear that you guys are actually packing rafts in there. Now, what river are you guys rafting in there? How far is it in to your jump off spot?
So it's the South Fork of the Flathead River. And from the trailhead to where we set up camp and start floating, it's around 34 miles on the trail. So, yep, you're taking rafts 34 miles upriver on a mule. And yeah, they're pretty heavy loads. I don't know exactly how much they weigh and stuff, but it definitely takes a skilled packer to wrap those loads and get everything weighing right and stuff. And they're pretty hard to get up on the mule too, especially when you have a tall mule. I definitely can't do it.
What kind of mules? You got any 17 hand mules in there?
Yep. He's got quite a bit of big mules.
Those got lift kits in them. We had one, the 17-1, 17-2. It's like a lift kit. Especially for a short guy like me, I always had the high side. So you guys packing frames?
Yep. So they take down the frames, and I'm pretty sure how they do it is they do frames on one side and then the rubber of the raft rolled up on the other side, plus the seats with the rubber. And that equals out to be pretty good. But you take down all the frames and stuff. So you just got a big bundle of poles basically at the end of it. Yeah.
And are you guys 34 miles in? I'm assuming you have a overnight spot. So you're going in halfway overnight and then go in.
Yeah, we go in like 15 miles, camp, and then go the rest of the way. It's called Big Prairie, and we have a layover day and get all the rafts put together and get the rafts blown up and stuff. And we have that layover day just so we can get gear set up and stuff and give the stock a break, and then also give the clients a break because most of the time, like I said, they've never rode a horse and they just went 34 miles in 2 days. So they just kind of want to chill out and fish and drink wine and chill out by the river. So, yep. And then from there, the main packers leave with all the stock, and then me and another girl stayed gear boat with the river crew. And then it's just, fishing guides and us and the clients from there on out. We float the rest of the way out. 30 miles pretty much.
Yeah. 30 miles. How many days does that take you?
We break it up into, let's see, we either break it up into 3 or 4 days worth of floating, depending on the trip. So
what kind of rapids? I mean, is it pretty meandering or that's a pretty good?
For the most part, it's a pretty calm river. There's maybe 3 spots that I would call rapids. And then there's some technical stuff going through rock gardens and little pinch points and rocks and stuff that especially get harder once the water goes down and more rocks appear and stuff like that. But it's not too bad.
Did you learn rowing on that river, or did you grow up rowing?
So my family's pretty big into rafting and stuff. And so I've rafted my whole life, but I hadn't really rowed a whole lot because most of the time my dad would be really. So I'd maybe done it for like just a little bit, not enough to kind of grasp it. And so, yeah, my first summer, 2019, I definitely didn't feel like I knew how to row at all, but I was going to do a couple practice runs and figure it out. And it's kind of hard to learn that way because with the gear boat, your raft is so heavy. And then right before I was supposed to go up there, we were rafting the middle fork of the Flathead with my Uncle Dave, the one who owns Schaefer Silvertip Bows, and then Josie, and then my cousin Justin and stuff. And we actually flipped a raft there because that river's really known for rapids, and that's why you go there. We flipped a raft, and me and my cousin Josie got sucked underwater for quite a while. So kind of a bit of a scare. And then when I did come up from the water, I was underneath the raft. So I had to crawl out from the side of that because the raft was flipped over. So right before that summer, I was feeling good about that. And then after that situation, I was a little bit nervous. Didn't feel like I was quite ready to get back out on the water, but was actually good for me. I kind of just got thrown into it and kind of had to figure it out. So
yeah, it's incidences like that, whether it's horseback or rafting or, backpacking, you don't learn a lot when things go smooth. You learn when things go south.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've really learned the past couple of years. And especially with like horses and stuff too, you just kind of have to be okay with accepting that things will go wrong, because at the end of the day, you're not really in control of that much.
Well, what's your best wreck?
So the main packers have had quite a bit of good ones, but probably me personally, last year, it was kind of funny, really. I think it was one of our last hunting camps. So we were really trying to break down all of the camp and get it out, because we weren't going to be coming back in with a new set of clients. And so it was the day that we were supposed to be leaving. And how we like to do it with clients is if we can control it, we don't have them sitting around while we do work and stuff. We try to get them out, because they're ready to get to the lodge and have a hot shower and a cold beer and all that. So the plan was for me to take off with the clients, because we have an extra truck and trailer at the trailhead where I can just get them to the lodge with our saddle horses and stuff. But we already had a couple loads managed. I think they're like cooler loads and duffel loads and stuff. So I was just going to take 3 or 4 mules with me, since those were ready to go and I was heading out with clients. So got those all strung up and headed out with probably, 6 clients behind me, and I had 3 or 4 mules, so not a lot. And we probably made it out of camp, maybe half a mile, and I looked back and a load was already crooked and stuff. So I was riding a horse that is kind of a shithead and isn't very good and likes to spook at everything and just cause issues. So I got off, tied up that horse, and went back and started shoving that load to get it right. And my horse, his name's Jake, decided he wanted to turn around in the trail with 3 mules behind him. So he flipped his butt on the opposite way from what it was, but with a mule behind him and a steep side hill that doesn't really work out, obviously. So the mule behind him started bucking.
So he's tied off to your riding horse?
Yep. And then, so that caused my riding horse to freak out, and he pulled back and actually snapped his rope from the tree and then took off down the trail. And so luckily the mule behind him that started bucking broke the piggin string of the other 2 mules. So him and that other mule took off down the trail. And then I had the mule that I was fixing still under control. So a client jumped off and I tossed him the lead rope of the 2 mules that were still good and just wanted to go get my saddle horse. So I had a ride. So took off running and was able to catch him, which I was lucky that I was able to catch him, because I was expecting him just to haul ass. And so came back, tied him up good. The mule that started bucking sent a cooler down the steep side hill. And when I got back to the clients, I just had to laugh, because I know that you'll be able to figure it out and get everything loaded up and stuff, and it'll take time and it's a pain in the ass and stuff, but nothing I can't handle. And their eyes were all just super wide, they didn't know what the heck was going on. And I think with me being a girl, they didn't trust my skills. They're like, how are we going to get this back on the mule? And I was like, well, we're going to carry it up and I'll just put it back on. I know how to do it. And they're like, oh, okay. So yeah, got that mess all sorted out and stuff and took off. But that was probably the craziest thing that I've had personally happen to me. But it's kind of funny to think about, because I'm sure all those clients went home telling that story and stuff, because that was probably a crazy thing for them to happen that they got a witness.
Well, I mean, what we talked about earlier about, the kind of life skills you develop, it does help to build your resiliency when, that's a lot of, girl or no girl, when you're 20 something years old and you have people depending on you and you have all that stock. And there's a danger in it anytime you're dealing with stock in the backcountry. That's not something that the average 20-year-old is tasked with.
Right.
So it's just good. It's good stuff. You know, you'll be able to draw on those experiences and not losing it and freaking out when you get in a pickle when you're 40.
Yeah.
Cause that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Yep. It's definitely good for you.
Do you guys got pretty good stock?
Yeah. Yep. We've got really good stock. He gets like a fresh batch every year. So there's a lot of times some newer horses and stuff, but they get thrown in the mix, and a lot of times they'll be jumpy, and some of the new mules will be hard to load or they have to go through a learning curve of getting put in a string, you know, but they catch on pretty fast. That's the nice part about outfitting is you're using the stock pretty much daily. So they catch on pretty quick, and and then it's a good way just to turn them into really good riding animals or packing animals and stuff, just that all that use they get and stuff. And then we've got a lot of good client horses that are super gentle and stuff. But one downside of outfitting too is all those client horses, just not having a very good rider on them sometimes isn't the best for them, because then they're doing whatever the heck they want because they know that they're able to. But
they just walk along eating and at their own leisurely pace.
Yeah, right. And that kind of drives you crazy when you're trying to, because all of us, you know, going down the trail, you want to keep a good pace and stuff and just get from point A to point B pretty fast and stuff. So when you're keeping a good pace on your horse and making them walk out, and then you've got 3 clients behind you that don't know how to do that, I just start handing them sticks to hit their horses' butts with. But yeah, I really like all of his stock. He really likes draft crosses. So he's got a lot of big horses, they're pretty cool. So, well,
that would be the mare you had a picture of a couple weeks ago. Just had a foal, and that was a stout looking gal.
Yeah, that's my boyfriend's mare. She's a Percheron cross. She's awesome. Yeah, she's a really good mountain horse, and he's had 2 colts out of her now, counting this one that she just had, and they're going to turn out to be pretty cool. So I'm excited for them.
How late those guys back there hunting? As far as the season, how late you guys in there?
So we usually start around September 4th. That's just archery. And then once September 15th hits, that's the early season rifle start. So then we get rifle hunters. We'll still get a couple bow hunters, but most of them want to hunt the rut with the rifle. So that's kind of the main attraction. And then we usually go to mid-October and then pull camp and stuff. And then occasionally he'll do a couple late season November hunts, but that's not as off. He doesn't really prioritize them, I guess.
You guys high elevation? You guys getting snow in late October in there?
Yeah, we're usually getting a couple inches at base camp here and there. A lot of times it won't stick. Our base camp's only probably around 4,000 feet, so it's not too incredibly high. But then where they're hunting every day, they're getting up to like 8,000 feet sometimes. So a lot of times snow will be sticking up there. So definitely have to deal with some weather.
Do outfitters have specific areas over there? So it's like, it's not a free for all. You guys are just have the area.
So I guess I'd have to look into that. They have their specific permits, and I think they have a general area.
Yeah.
But I want to say that I think they could wander pretty far. I think I could be wrong, but there's kind of an etiquette with other outfitters that you stick to your own area and you're not like going into where another outfitter is operating and stuff. So
I'm curious, that bull behind you would be your right shoulder.
This one?
Yes. What's the story behind that?
So that's actually a deadhead that my boyfriend found. So no one shot it, but yeah.
You ever score it?
I don't think they have. No.
That's a pickle.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty nice bull. Yep. He's got the skull painted too. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. His uncle kind of did a Native American painting type thing on there.
What is your plans for the fall? You done with school?
Not quite. I've taken the past 2 falls, I've taken the semester off, so I'm able to be in the backcountry and then also hunt for myself, which maybe isn't the best choice sometimes. But so this fall, I need to like focus on school a little bit.
So you won't be killing an elk, archery elk this year.
Well, I still hopefully will, but I'll be in school, but I do online school. So for the most part, I can work ahead as much as I can. So then I can have longer weekends and stuff. But yeah, I should be able to get quite a bit of hunting in. As far as hunting, probably just really focus on elk. I think early October, I'd like to put some effort into stalking mule deer with my bow. So try to do that. And then that's kind of my goals for right now.
I meant to ask you way back in the beginning when you were talking about shooting. Now, you're shooting a stick bow from pretty much day one as a kid. How did you learn how to shoot, and how do you shoot today?
As far as form and stuff?
Yeah. Are you instinctive snap shooter, or are you gap shooting?
Instinctive. I've never tried gap shooting. Honestly, when I was growing up, I don't know, I was never really taught anything to do with form. I'm sure my dad lined me out on the basics, like draw to the corner of your mouth sort of thing. Well, actually, he taught me a couple things, And then, before, when I really started hunting with my bow, I tried to dial my form in and stuff, just like not gripping my bow hand and being consistent with my anchor point. I used to pluck the string pretty bad, but my release is getting better. But, yep, so I just shoot instinctively, and that's all I've ever really done.
Yeah. Cool. So just for the heck of it, plug the outfitter you work for. I mean, that wasn't what this was about. I really wanted to talk to you about packing, but so who do you work for, and where can they find? Because that river trip sounds fantastic.
Yeah. So I work for Rich McAdee with Montana Wilderness Lodge. You can find their website. We've got an Instagram and all that. And yeah, so he does spring bear hunts if you're interested in that. And then he does river trips into the Bob Marshall that are a week long, involving obviously riding horses and rafting and stuff. He also does smaller fishing trips that are lodge based. So you get a float, stay in the lodge sort of thing, just day stuff. You have got a shower and a nice big meal and stuff at the end of the day. Yep. And then hunting trips, starting in September, mostly elk. We've had a couple people come for deer, but the elk hunting's quite a bit better. So yep. So Montana Wilderness Lodge is who I work for.
Nice. How's the elk herd over there? You guys getting the wolves under control? How's that look?
Elk populations have gone down quite a bit, especially in my lifetime. Yeah, the wolves here are just out of control. There's wolves everywhere. Just about every time you're going hunting, you're seeing tracks or hearing howls or just seeing lots of sign and stuff. So yeah, wolves are definitely an issue here. There's still some elk, but yep, wolves are a problem, as they seem to be wherever they are.
Yeah. It's actually, there's places in Idaho that are getting better. We're getting better moose populations. We're getting better calf numbers. So there is, I don't know if it's light at the end of the tunnel, but maybe some.
Well, it seems like your guys' Fish and Game are putting more efforts into encouraging people to trap them and stuff like that. So
did you guys this year get snares legalized for wolves?
I'm not sure on that.
Yeah.
Not that I know of. I'm not sure though.
Maybe it was baiting. Did you get baiting for wolves? Anyways,
I think that they legalized that.
Okay, that'll help.
I think.
And then you got hound hunting, which was amazing, right?
Yeah, for bears.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, now they just need to legalize bear baiting, and then we'd be set.
Yep,
that'd be awesome if they did that.
Well, yeah, it's called predator management. But hey, I really appreciate your time. I don't know if you want people to follow you on Instagram.
I don't really care.
I hear you. Then don't look for her.
Yeah. They want to look for me, fine. If they don't, I don't really care.
Well, hey, it was awesome meeting. Well, I saw you over at Western States. That was a good shoot. That was a good time.
That was an awesome shoot. I had a blast. I wish it was so close every year, but I understand it has to travel from state to state.
Well, I've been to a handful of them, and you know, there's so much work that goes into them. I mean, for the state, for the clubs that take it on. I've been to some really good ones, and I've been to Oregon and Washington. They have them in Idaho and Montana, and I'll say that that one ranks right up there with one of the best ones I've been to, and it was really revolved around the people. I mean, it was so cool to see. I mean, like I said, I've gone to some shoots where there's been some pretty, you don't want to say high profile, you don't want to say legends, but just like people that in the sport that we look up to. Well, there was a pile of them there.
I know. I recognize just people I follow on Instagram. I just recognize a lot of faces that way. And got to catch up with a lot of people that are old friends of my grandpa or dad or stuff like that. But I think everyone had a really good time. They did a really good job. Yeah. We usually go to that Fawn Creek shoot every year. So it was nice to go to that one as well. Yeah, it was fun to be back there. That was a good time. And we had good weather, right? Wasn't the weather really nice? Yeah, the weather was awesome. Yeah. Because I've been there when it snowed. It had rained a whole bunch before, though. That's right. So I don't think you're in the tent camping area, but we were kind of in the swamp for a little bit. And I was just sleeping in a little pop tent where usually you throw down like a Manny tarp and stuff. But it was a little bit wet in that area, but things dried up really quick because we got some good weather. Oh, so. Okay. You're talking the Western States. Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah, no, I was talking Fawn Creek, but Western States, that was a swamp down there. I was operating on like 3 hours of sleep when I got there, and fortunately, my buddy Mike had me all set up with a nice spot back there, and I cut some pretty hard Z's that night. It was cold, holy smokes, that first night that I was there. Dang, that was things got frosted. Yeah, but the weather was good at that Fawn Creek shoot though too. Yeah. That's what I was saying is I've been to Fawn Creek when we've had damn near tornadoes, snow, rain, 90 degrees. Yeah, I remember a couple of pretty rainy years that everyone was huddled under a tarp, like in between shooting the courses and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's great catching up with you, and I'm sure I'll see you around next year at some shoots. Good luck in school, and good luck with killing an elk this year. Yeah, hopefully it happens. Thanks for having me on. Oh, you bet. And stay safe out there in the bob. Yep, will do. All right. Good talking to you. Okay, bye.